Today, internet is taken for granted. But 25 years ago, internet was not present universally in India. The man who introduced internet to India is Mr. B K Syngal, who was then with the Videsh Sanchar Nigam Limited of VSNL. And I am one of the first users of the older network and then of the VSNL network. And we used to use floppy disks and computers with lines which were dial-up connections. Many people do not know how difficult it was today when we talk of broadband connectivity. Uh, Mr. Singhal is the telecom giant of India, a man who has written a very nice book called Telecom Man, his own autobiography, and a man who saw tomorrow for India and the world. Mr. Singhal, tell me a little bit about that August 14th day 25 years ago when first time public internet was introduced in India.
Namaskar, Pallabji. Thank you very much for this introduction. I don't think I deserve that much, but I really appreciate your comments and comments on the book which I have recently published. Um, Bringing internet into India, as a matter of fact, on the 14th August, we launched it in a commercial sense or for the public or the hoi polloi at large. Before that, internet was present, but it was a very, very select community of scientists and technologists connecting our laboratories of CSIR, IITs, Institute of Science, which goes back to 1980-89, but it was not available for public. As a matter of fact, the digital connectivity, bridging the gap between India and the rest of the world, opened up only after the 1991 liberalization policies of the Narasimhan Rao government. Uh, I also gave up a job in England and came back to serve the country because I wanted a challenge. And Mr. Petroda said, this is a challenge. India is facing a lot of problems. We are unable to use our knowledge industry. So because of the lack of connectivity, our trunk dialing is bad. We can't make calls and everything is bad. And if you can improve, that will be great. So talking of internet in 91, first of all, it wasn't that commercially available. And would you believe that when we launched in 94, we were the third country in Asia, just ahead of Singapore, who have launched commercial internet. We were the third country ahead of China, and we just beat Singapore to it because they were doing beta testing. We somehow cut those processes and launched the service.
So we were ahead of China.
Ahead of Chinese actually came to learn from us as to how we have launched internet services. The Chinese vice minister came to visit us. He visited me. I still have a picture of him to learn the tricks of the trade as to how to launch internet. So we were the third country after Japan, Hong Kong, and India, ahead of Singapore, ahead of China, ahead of any other Asian country.
This is third in Asia or third in the world, sir?
Not third in the world, because third in the world, internet services were available in US, they were available in UK, they were available in Europe. Australia had internet services. As a matter of fact, we parented to um, Australia and United Kingdom, England, for our connectivity to get onto the internet. So we parented ourselves to 2 or 3 countries which already had internet. So in the world, maybe we would be amongst the top 10. If you take Europe as one entity, we could easily say that we would be top 10. Uh, Let me search and find out where we were. But yes, in Asia, we were the third.
But
Um,
and that was on dial-up connection. So it is a very different technology from today, where you have 24 by 7 fiber optic connections. This is dial-up, meaning every time one needed to dial into a number to get a connection. And I remember those very noisy modems which would connect us.
you are absolutely right. You see, one has to definitely live through what you call primitive times. We didn't become that tech savvy without going into the experiences of Stone Age, Bronze Age, etc. So you can take that. I won't say Stone Age, but that experience you should take as a Bronze Age, or maybe slightly even uh, later than Bronze Age. Um, See, the realization within the government was that we had the largest English speaking population, the third largest scientific and technological manpower in the country, and that was ready to go. In fact, there was one article, front page article in economics, the caged tiger.
I remember that distinctly.
I still have the picture of that economist with me. So, those were some of the uh, pushing or shoving forces which required us to do something innovative, fast, quick, cost effective, which I think was not, but yet at that time people were prepared to pay the price. Uh,
I remember
so,
having paid 15, 16,000 rupees for 256 hours of dial-up connection, sir. And it was not cost effective. We used to lose the connection all the time.
in hindsight, I will admit it was obnoxious, obscene, without applying the theory of volumes can bring your tariff down, and the volume and the tariff equation can balloon faster if you bring the tariffs down, increase the volumes. We didn't apply that. We were in a hurry to mop up money as much quickly as possible, which was patently wrong. Uh, and that's where you say that it was a what do you call complete market failure or sensitivities of the consumer, complete disregard. It was kind of saying, well, I'm on a high stocking horse, and whatever I provide and whatever I price, people will buy. That's today you can't do it. We did that, but we got brickbats for that. More of that I come back. So just in 94 September, the seed for bringing internet into India was sown by my chairman, God bless, Mr. Thakkar, and we started planning uh, to provide internet into India. So we made few studies, we met few telcos. I had good friends in British Telecom, AT&T, MCI, to learn the tricks of the trade, even Telstra of Australia, because they had provided the services. Uh, and finally, we got our, I would say, semi-act together to be able to launch services from 5 cities. Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, Madras, and Pune. The reason being that we had our own infrastructure facility at those places. So it was easy for us to launch services from there. But we didn't have any infrastructure at Hyderabad and Bangalore. So the first ton of bricks came from Bangalore because it was the IT center and we had no internet. And the dial-up from Bangalore would not sustain more than 15 minutes because of the junctions, high cost of STD. If you recall, the STD call used to be 35 rupees a minute. So after having paid 50,000 plus money, you pay 35 into, if you use for 30 minutes, another 1,000 rupees for use of internet. So what's going on was the question. Anyway, there were
You
problems.
also had initial hiccups soon after launching. After 15th August, when you got the applause from the Prime Minister and everything from the Red Fort, tell us a little
Well,
bit about the brickbats you got soon after.
it, it was not one hiccup, it was only hiccups. So all the time, it was hiccups. Anyway, there was euphoria, second independence. Things started settling down. And we had one sounding board, if you remember, recall, Internet Users Club of India,
Yes.
which was chaired by none other than Shami Kapoor ji. And the members was Professor Pathak from IIT Bombay. Then we had Vijay Mukhi, we had Mihir Mafatlal, we had their wives, we had all sorts of people who were part of this, and we were using them as sounding board. Vijay Mukhi one day whispered into my ears, Singal साहब, अब आपको जूते पड़ने जा रहे हैं. मैं तो आर्टिकल लिखता रहूंगा पॉजिटिव, but let me tell you, you will get or you will be hit hard. And sooner than later, within 1 month of the service provision, we were getting extremely poor press. Extremely poor press. I mean, there were headlines like obscene charges, obnoxious service. And I was getting calls from bureaucrats saying, what the hell are you doing? What is this service? We are getting complaints and complaints. Department of Electronics, anyway, Vittal was no great friend of mine. So we were getting brickbats only. 1 month gone, second month gone. Come September, October, I said, I have had enough of it. All my staff. I said, listen, guys, you are not at the receiving end. I am. What have we done? I think it's a mess. Can we really, really introspect and come on with the truth? And let's try to understand the problem. I said, some problems I know is a poor connectivity. 30 consumers, one line, forget it. You already have 10,000 consumer base. 100 lines, this won't work. Modems, 3 minutes beep. We had connecting from junctions, long distance people shouting at us. With the help of DOT, we were able to solve STD problem like providing a toll-free number. But then toll-free number only uh, removes your 35 rupees a minute, but it doesn't solve the problems of really long distance junctioning. 3 minute beep got removed, and at least that call drop problem was solved. We added more lines. I think from 30 consumer one line, we brought it down to 15 consumer two line. Those days, getting the junctions also was a nightmare. and we needed the cooperation of the DOT to provide us junctions. They were in a short supply. Anyway, I said, listen, enough of this. I think it is time we speak to the press because I am being pressurized from all sides. My situation is worse than that of a pressure cooker. So I called my PRO, Mr. Banik. He was the Hanumanji. And I said, organize a press conference. Topic is internet service. And I said, in 2 days or 48 hours, let's have the press conference. So we had the press conference, and I think they came like bees for the press conference. I mean, some of the dailies I had not even heard of. Sorry, my lack of knowledge, or all sorts of vernacular, Urdu, Hindi, Tamil. So our boardroom was full or overflowing. We had to put extra chairs or ask our staff to leave the chairs for them. It started a shouting match from them. Aapne kyun bulaya? Why have you called us? What is it that you have to say? Your service is pathetic. Your charges are absolutely obscene. Nobody pays so much. In UK, these are the charges. In US, these are the charges, etc. So I said, I kept on listening, and it was from all sides. Volley from here, smash from there, backspin from somewhere, googly from somewhere. So it was coming from all directions. And we had to face it. And my directors were looking at my face. And this man with a short fuse is just smiling and merrily watching or enjoying. So this went on for about good 15-20 minutes. And I raised my hand. I said, may I please have 2 or 3 minutes with you? And I only will say 3 words, not more than that. One fellow said, you want to muzzle us by silencing us? I said, no, I'm not with that. Have I tried that for the last 20 minutes? Did I say, shut up? I dare not. I said, no, I'm only requesting. I'm only requesting. If you listen to me, my request, fine. Otherwise, I'm sitting here listening to you guys. But the only thing I would say is that I don't think we are adding value by going on. Then one of the senior journalists said, अरे यार अब चुप करो, अब इन्होंने बुलाया है, इनकी चाय समोसे खाए हैं, तो इनकी भी सुन लो. So then there was a pin drop silence, and I said, thank you very much. I promise I'll only say 3 words. And the 3 words are pathetic service, and I goofed. Pathetic, I goofed.
That was a big admission on your part.
So there was silence, and suddenly the silence broke, and one person asked me, what are these people sitting on your left and right? What are they doing? I said, the buck stops here. I've signed off. I'm responsible. I've taken final decision with open eyes. So therefore, I goofed. Then another caller, Times of India, said, should we print it? I said, go ahead. I have no problem. I've said it. I've repeated it. Please. My only second request to you is, I need time. give me at best 8 weeks. And let me assure you, I'll provide you world-class service. I've already worked out what I need to do. We have a plan. In fact, we have already started implementing the plan. But in 8 weeks, a service you will be proud of, a tariffing which will not be as high as has been so far. So please, my request is for 8 weeks, if you please not print messages about the internet service. There was a bit of an uproar. How can you muzzle us? How can you stop us from not printing? I said, I'm only requesting, after having publicly admitted it will avoid unnecessarily animosity and aggravation for me, not for you guys from Delhi. And I want to avoid that. That's why, no other reason. 8 weeks world-class service. So, Pallabji, we had smiles. Thank you very much. Sir, you are very bold. I said, I have no option. And next morning, Times of India printed, CMD VSNL says, I goofed. And my minister, Pandit Sukhan, called me. And he said, Arey bhai, ye kya kar diya? So I said, I've done it only for your sake. Now, they will not question you in the parliament for bad service. You can always say, the CMD अब मान गया है और in 8 weeks he will fix everything. So it saves you a lot of questioning. I think I've done it for the good of everyone. My chairman called me and he said, Singal साहब बहुत उम्दा और bold step लिया. लोग admit नहीं करना मानते. आपने admit करके you bought peace. Balaji, to cut it short, 6 weeks we had a world-class system. I think towards the end of November 1995, we had a world-class system. And a system which we were proud of. Unfortunately, only dial-up corrections. In the meantime, DOT also became confident that we can provide good service. And they told us to provide services in places like Aurangabad, in places like Cochin, in Trivandrum, in Ahmedabad. In fact, the mandate was that we should try to put our nodes at all state capitals. So we started doing nodes at all state capitals progressively. If I recall, by middle of 96, we had a fairly good network of internet. And if I also recall that we started giving internet connectivity or lease line, 64 kilobit connectivity, also to certain software houses of internet. So they moved away from internet to internet. They could have intranet or connectivity to whosoever was their client abroad, but they wanted a connectivity 64K line so that they could connect themselves rather than dial up directly onto net, which is today the progression of the always on internet by various service providers and then advancing to fiber connectivity. So that's how it progressed.
Did you ever, Single Sahab, did you ever imagine in 94, 95, 25 years ago that internet in India would become a multi-billion dollar या अरब रुपए का इकोनॉमी बन जाएगा?
See, Pallavi, I keep saying telecom is such an animal that you only see the tip of the iceberg.
Even now we've seen only the tip of the iceberg?
Even now we have only seen the tip of the iceberg.
My God.
You see, if you, I am 80 years old.
You're young.
In the 50s, it took 12 hours to get a call across Delhi to Jaipur. My uncle had a serious accident on Delhi Jaipur, trying to maneuver a peacock coming under his car. Because even today, killing a peacock means 7 years behind the bars.
Yes.
And his car, he suddenly braked. It not somersault, it flipped on the driver's side, and his hand grazed along the road. And we had no idea as to how he was, because first of all, the telephone itself was a really for high mighty bureaucrats or some very rich people to the or doctors. You call, you book at 8 in the morning. You're lucky if you get it by 10:30, 11. And some days, if the call didn't mature by midnight, it will collapse. So you come back again and book the call. So you wait another day, even with urgent calls. So it was then that I decided that this is what I need to study, which forced me to, or which compelled me to choose electronics as my subject in 59, when no one chose electronics. Those who chose electronics, people will say, "Tu bhuka mar jayega." But today, people are bending backwards to get into. I mean, electronics is not telephone, which is what it was then on computers. Telecom today or electronics today is God knows what. Nobody knows. I have also forgotten my electronics. So, if you look back these 25 years, I think 5 years hence, what we have covered in 25 years would be covered in 5 years or even less. And these 25 years may appear to be just a pinhead in the rear view mirror. I agree that even in 98, when I left VSNL, or rather when I was thrown out of VSNL,
Yes, that is true.
I couldn't imagine that. I mean, I could visualize, but even then, to say this will be this state, it has become a necessity after roti, kapda, makan. It is connectivity. And connectivity has become commodity. And when it becomes a commodity, then the takers just mushroom. Innovation takes the center stage, applications. So it has become a necessity. Because of necessity, it has become a commodity. Because of commodity, it has become cost effective. Costs have come down. The volumes have mushroomed. You, let's say, uh, recover your costs in a shorter period of time. So you become, in a way, asset light. Of course, the government policy of higher taxation is no joy. I keep on saying that it is wrong to tax success in perpetuity. You can't continue to tax or use it as a cash cow, and that's a different topic. So from 10,000 or 15,000 internet dial-up users, few lease lines of internet, we have 7 million internet users on mobile plus broadband plus fiber and whatnot. Today, nobody talks about a dial-up connection, although I still have a modem connected to my computer. But nobody provides dial-up service today. No one, but I still have a modem. So we were talking about the backup. So I had modem, I have 8 MB from BSNL on a copper, and I've got a fiber from BSNL providing me 100 MB, and I got a Vodafone phone. It gives me 4G, and on a good day I can get maybe 15 MB or so. But yeah, it gives me good connectivity. So we were talking of uh, speeds and connectivity.
So where do you think
That is really, it's a kind of dream as to how far we have progressed these 25 years, and it has become a necessity. I feel very proud that I did something for a common man and my team, and with the support of my colleagues at DOT, that we could accomplish the mission of connecting our countrymen with the rest of the world.
what do you think is the future of internet in India?
It's like asking a question, what is the depth of the Pacific Ocean? Or there is another proverb, I think the future is like chasing the rainbow. Today also I was listening to a webinar, applications based on artificial intelligence, robotics, work from home, controlling machines, Internet of Things to improve the quality of life. Just imagine that you can transfer money sitting on the iPad or tabletop. You can book tickets. There's no need for you to run to an office at the airport or Connaught Place or some shopping mall. They have all disappeared. They have all disappeared. It's the fertile human brain, given what technology can do and bring better quality of life cost effectively, is what internet has done. Imagine March 20th when the lockdown started and the work from home. permission from DOT was not forthcoming because they were still debating about 1 crore bank guarantee and security reasons, etc. But today everybody is saying that work from home really served us well. There are, of course, people who criticize work from home. Nobody is compelling anybody to work from home. At least you have a choice to use technology to work from home. You can do the same thing. Let's take a simple example. You think that we could have had this conversation if the internet was not there, connectivity was not there?
Impossible.
What would have been we would be doing? I would have said, "Acha, theek hai, let's meet in some hotel, have coffee. You'll bring a recorder, and I'll have a mic in my hand, and there'll be some fellows watching over the shoulder to say, ये क्या हो रहा है, क्या गुफ्तगू है." So you know, these are examples of what technology can do and what it has demonstrated and what it has done. Even very small example, there were days in 2002, if our maid who hailed from Sundarbans left us for her yearly chutti, we had no clue about her as to whether she's gone missing in the train or has she crossed the two bridges, no, not two bridges, two rivers, which were not bridged then. And we would only know after a month or through some messenger from her village to tell us she's all right and possibly coming on such and such date. But today we can speak to her freely. And she also selectively can use WhatsApp.
Yeah. It's been an amazing transformation, Singal Saab, and you pioneered some of that transformation for India. Is there any one thing in the last 25 years on internet in India which you think you could have done right, which would have made India even more powerful in the digital economy?
See, I let me. I would say that maybe connectivity is a combination of penetration of devices. Okay. The penetration of devices did start immediately after we introduced the internet. So if we go back to 95, what was the connectivity? Plain old telephone system.
Correct.
The first cellular call had been made only 2 weeks before.
I remember my first cell phone, sir, a Nokia 5110, and
I showed you, this is vintage 2002.
so you need to bring it into the frame a little bit more. Towards your face, yes. A little close, yes. What phone is that, sir?
It's T something.
Sony Ericsson.
Sony Ericsson, and it still works.
Amazing, amazing.
It still works. It can't take 4G SIM, but it still works. So, just an example. So, see, so what I'm coming to is that the penetration or proliferation of devices is if it had been brought earlier or quicker. As you know, cell industry was also mired in controversy.
Oh, plenty of controversy. You played a key role there also, sir. I remember. Let's not get there. That's a whole 2 hours separately.
So, 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 in response to your question, the the the, the Sangam, there are three elements. You have, it is you and me,
Correct.
it is connectivity, and it is the devices. And let's take connectivity both as plain old telephone system and the cellular. So the penetration of plain old telephone system was about 40 million. There were only 35, 40 million junctions. This instrument, up until the 1999 telecom policy, the penetration, when the cell industry was going belly up, and drastic changes were made in the telecom industry, that kick-started proliferation of the cellular system and connectivity improved. So, although it was not my sphere of, let's say, activity, but I would say that if I were to be at the helm, I think our policy of very heavy upfront charges, which was done in 1994 when 8 licenses and then all India licenses were auctioned in a 2 envelope process. In hindsight, one can say the 99 policy years of pay as you earn is what brought stability or mushrooming of connectivity. So, easy to criticize, but the fact remains is that everyone can say, oh, I could have done it differently.
Yeah. So from single digit devices to over a billion cellular connections in India, you have seen amazing transformation for the country.
Yes. Can't believe it at times.
You're satisfied with what you have seen and done?
Extremely. Extremely.
Not many people could have done this.
I'll not like to boast or say anything. I think one can look at it in a very different manner. You feel satisfied that our software companies have become now billion-dollar companies. And you had seen again how small they were in 91, 92, or even around 98. So it gives immense satisfaction, whether people realize or not realize, as to what connectivity can do and what it has done by initiatives, let's say adventures of those days, which we ventured into in providing connectivity. I think bureaucracy to invest into CMEV2 cable in 92, 91 was a challenge. And when it got commissioned in 94, You can't believe euphoria of digital connectivity. No latency whatsoever.
So you're hopeful that digital India will do even better than what we have done till now?
Yes, I would say that maybe, as I said, uh, alluded to earlier, that we could do much more in next 5 years than what we have done in 25 years. And hopefully somebody should be able to live to tell the tale.
It's always been a pleasure talking to you, Singhal Saab, initially as a person who paid 16,000 rupees to VSNL to get a dial-up connection almost 25 years ago, to now when I read your book, Telecom Man, to have seen so much change in the country and to have seen and met the person who in a way catalyzed that change. Uh, I wish you a longer life, and I wish both India and the people of India great times in the digital world. There are many, many problems in the digital world. At some other point, we can talk about the serious problems which are there. But today, when we are celebrating 25 years of internet, and having spoken to the man who gave internet to the country, it has been a deep delight speaking to you, Mr. Singhal, and I wish you a healthy and long life. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Pallabji. Thank you very much. And your kind words.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
It provides me the tonic.
Yeah. You,
And
you have the wishes for 1.3 billion Indians, sir.